Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Milk. Does it really even matter the outbad status? And were people shocked to know that you weren't in the club anymore? That
Yeah.
you left?
Even last night in Vegas, and I've been there since this has happened. And I had people last night like, bro, like you're not. And I wasn't in anything. I wasn't in black and red or orange last night. But I had people like, bro, I heard you're not chosen few no more. Some of them know and kind of get what it was. I ain't even really got to say nothing. But yeah, a lot of people were shocked. A lot of like, you're out of the club, like yeah. I mean, and there's people in there's people to this day. I've had plenty of brothers reach out and tell me, yo, that's fucked up. I don't like what they did to you, and they get it. It's politics. It's not like I did anything, so it's not like it was just a bullshit excuse, and it was really again it's about the seat.
Yeah, but so now that you're out bad, people can't talk to you that are in the club, right?
They're not supposed to.
And you've been, we're in this club for a long time, like.
Yeah,
So how does that feel knowing that you can't talk to these people that you've been in the club with for like 15, 16 years?
it smells. Like I said, it hurt when I sat. So I had the meeting with Bread and Bad Boy in Phoenix for Soul Brothers. And I said, when I sat with him, I said, I mean, I actually even cried in front of him and it hurt. And I'm kind of welling up now. Like I had a conversation with three brothers that really, I gave a lot to the chosen few. And so it hurt. And when I told Bad Boy and Bread, I said, I feel like I got kicked out of my house. And people was like, well, go to grandma's, nigga. Grandma let you stay there. And Soul Brothers is grandma. I mean, again, it's the family network thing. So it's like I got plenty of calls. So it's not like if it wasn't about club hopping or just having to put a patch on, because I also really was considering like I really was like, I'll just get a car and go back into low riding. I just go get back into cars. But I'm not done riding, and I enjoy the parties and I got, like I said, I got relationships. Even without a patch, I'm recognized. People know who I am,
Yeah.
and I speak to people. I'm not an asshole to people. So um, I remember Bad Boy and him told me, he was like, "You sure 16 and a half? That's a lot. You want to think about this? You want to wait?" No, because I know what they're doing, and I'm just enough's enough. Uh, it's like staying in a toxic relationship. Like, how many times you just gonna keep getting hit before you're like, it's enough. Like, and he'd been gunning for me for a while. So at this point, it's just like you win. I mean, there was things that was said in Vegas that people either don't listen or don't perceive what was said, and again, it is what it is. And even recently, again, he keeps trying to slander me and say shit that people that know my character or know who I am know that that's not me. And again, the love I have for the club, uh, and anybody else. I mean, I got relationships with other people in other clubs, and I've had officers and even members from other clubs that reached out and was like, "Hey, the upper said you could have this, or you come here with this," and there was offers on the table, so I didn't have to go to Soul Brothers, but for for when we talk about, and I'm gonna say this in a way because I got guys that even the guy I got in trouble with in Houston, he went to another club that Joseph was beefing with. He called and checked on me when bro, I heard you're out. You okay? Like, how you holding up? He didn't call and ask me to come over there. He didn't call nothing about pitching the club. He just genuinely called and checked on me. And it was like that whole little incident in Houston was messed up the way it went down. But we ended up being able to build a relationship before he left the club. I went down to Louisiana numerous times and fucked with him. So when he left, it was like, okay. But when and it's the same thing with the disciples. Blood hasn't been shed, but eventually you keep beating each other up, it's going to escalate to that. And it's like, at one point, where does this get fixed and how? So if I didn't like, or if I if I didn't love this club, and if I didn't love Arizona, I could have went to 34 and let's turn this bitch up. Let's get active. Let's really crack it off. But I'm not gonna do that to my guys that I just sat in meetings. I done rolled with you and I said I fuck with you. I love you. Like, you come to my house, I know where you live. So let me go to the op, as they call it, and then what, just jaw jack, or are we really gonna do something? So for me, and I can only speak for me, because a lot of chosen few have left and went to the other clubs that there is issues with. They've went to clubs that there aren't no issues with. But I got rapports with some of them guys that went to the clubs that they chose a few had issues with. But again, I got a relationship with the individual, and it was a cool cat. Now, whatever happened to him and his dynamic is a whole nother thing. And I'm not just speaking on that Louisiana guy. I've had guys in other areas that left and went, and it necessarily wasn't even because of me. It was because of the stuff that's happening. And so now when that happens, I got relationships with people, and I just felt like me going to Soul Brothers, that was our brother club, and to a lot of them, it's still. So I won't say was a brother club. It's still, there's relationships over there, and I spoke on it numerous times. If we had issues in Phoenix, I wasn't calling Nevada or California like and waiting 5 or 6 hours to come. I'm calling the brothers in 15 minutes. They're coming. I got more numbers. If
Yeah,
I
but is
really
that
had
going
to
to
go down
cause?
the
Is
road.
that going to you going to the brothers? Is that going to cause an issue with the club you left from?
No, well, no. Yes and no. No, I mean, I've had a lot of brothers that have reached out and been like, "Oh, it's cool. It was a good move." I've had brothers call and be like, "Yo, what do I got to do?" I'm not trying to pluck anybody or tell everybody like,
Oh, people want
man.
to leave because you're gone, right?
Some do, some
Yeah.
have. So again, you had people that wanted to leave last year, and I told a lot of people like, man, just hold on. Change is coming. Like, a lot of people were waiting for this election. There's a lot of stuff that they didn't like that was going on. So it was like, just hold on. Like, wait, change is coming. And so after this happened, I did have people that was like, "Nigga, shit, the only reason I stayed was we thought you was going to end up in the seat. So if you ain't here, what am I sticking around for?" Not necessarily like, where are you going? I'm going with you, but
Yeah.
just fine. I'm not, I know a couple cats that they went and got cars. They went and they're low riding now. They're not in anything. It definitely wasn't just a jump ship and go somewhere else. But you had people that definitely were like, so are they upset? I know he's upset, but he's not. He can give a fuck about me. He's more mad that they would take me and not listen to him. I think that's more where they're at with are they
Oh,
mad?
because
Um,
he thinks he has the power to go to another club and say, "Don't take him."
well, and maybe it wasn't him, people that he has working under him. But I've had other clubs, not sober. I had other clubs that reached out that contacted me damn near like after they got the phone. "Hey, we told you were out bad because of this. We got rides for you if you want to come over here." So again, it depends on who's honoring what. And I guess technically you're not supposed to take anybody that's out bad, but what are they out bad for? Because I've taken members that we were told they were out bad, and then it was like, well, he owes me money. Okay, what does he owe? I always used to say, is he does he owe the club money? Like, is his dues paid up? Did he turn his colors in? Um, does he have any club property? And if that's the case, then you can say, okay, you got to give all that stuff back before you come over here.
You find
Um,
out what it's for. Did he steal from the club? Did he sleep with
yeah,
someone's
you
old
do your
lady?
homework on
Did
him,
he do some
because
stank
sometimes they'll
shit?
say shit and they'll be like, he's out bad because he was fucking my wife. Okay, well, that's fucked up. And it's good to know because now I know if we take him, keep him from around people's wives. But for what is he coming in the club? Is he a good soldier? Is he a brother? Is he ride? There's other angles to look at it. So when you talk about why the individual's out bad, um, you know, and I've had clubs that just want to block somebody and say, yeah, once they're over here, they can never go nowhere else. Well, that's like telling somebody once you get married, you can never divorce and never get remarried. Would you, you imagine the world if every husband or every wife that you left me for her, I'm gonna fuck your house up and I'm gonna tear up everything that I can tear up because you got remarried.
So you don't think it'll cause an issue that you went to Soul Brothers?
Well, I mean, it's ruffled some feathers. I can say that it's definitely ruffled some feathers on both sides. I mean, I got I got soul brothers that's heard I was over here and haven't. I've had calls from some of them like, "Welcome home and congrats, welcome to the family." Oh, is it true? Like I'm hearing this. Is that right? You know, yeah. It's there's some people that feel some kind of way about it, and again, it's the action. This wasn't just I've thought about it a lot, and you know, and I think some of it comes out to like I'm not gonna let him get the best of me, let him win, because I know that it was wrong what he did to me or had his people do to me, because he may not even own it and say, well, it wasn't me, but again, they act under your orders. So yeah, there's people that felt like I should have just sat down and waited till Virginia, but I didn't see nothing changing except,
Is there charters where you live with the Soul Brothers?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
They're all over the country, right?
Yeah, they're mainly on the west, but they've sprinkled out. They're not in as many places as Chosen Few was, but their growth, they've grown.
What's
They've
their
branched out to the
what
east, the Midwest, the South.
what
They're in other areas.
what's their history?
67, North Cal. Um, um,
East
yeah,
Bay Dragons. They're really tight with the East Bay Dragons, and
well, yeah,
right.
they're at Palo Alto and Merced, Fresno, like North Cal. They're heavy up in North Cal. Um, they've got a big presence in California, and again, that kind of goes back to I think closer to one of our last interviews. I was talking about if they had made another Biker Boys. Well, Soul Brothers also played a big part in California history, so they're also. I had somebody. So I was in Vegas last night, and somebody from a reputable club, but he was speaking and he was talking about how people don't I don't talk to civilians. And I was like, well, that's kind of crazy. Like that's potential people that as a potential member or as a potential somebody that's gonna come to your clubhouse and support, buy
Supporter,
a
yeah.
drink, hang around, come to these annuals. So that it's to not speak to a civilian or feel like, I don't acknowledge civilians thing. I don't know. Anyways, he said, I know East Bay Dragons, the oldest club ever. And I thought, wait a minute, you talking about on the West? And he was like, no, just period. I was like, no, that's wrong. And and it wasn't until one of those legacy runs that I had learned that the Defiant ones had came out in 57. And so riding with them, I learned a lot about that, the history of the Dragons. But then I believe it's called Block Burners or they're an East Coast club, but they came out like 43 or 47. And like they're the oldest club. But again, I don't think they've branched out other than really in that area of the Upper East, Midwest area. So you don't see them in California or Texas. So the history of them isn't as put out like the Dragons or Chosen Few, Soul Brothers, some of these other clubs. even like Disciples, Outcasts, like when they've been around for the years they've been around. But to say like, so Soul Brothers, they're growing. They started to, when Chosen Few was branching out, they were branching out. They just didn't expand as quick or into as many places as Chosen Few did. But they're in, shit, Arkansas, Kansas City.
And you go to all types of runs, so I know you're going to be at a whole bunch, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love to
You
rock. That's the whole
what?
purpose of doing this, is getting out. And it's fun because like when I got the patches, it was like I saw the run calendar and some of the places it was going, and then even at the annual in Phoenix, I met a bunch of the guys in other areas, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm coming. Like again, it's just about the camaraderie, just miles and memories, building those relationships, and some of them guys I've seen before at other functions, and not necessarily in their area. So now it's like, okay, I'm kind of hyped to go to these other areas and with them. You know, we'll see who rides from here out there too. But
Man, it's something new, right? Something new for you.
yeah, no, yeah. But I've been around them, so like I said it was easy. I still got a lot to learn.
It's
You
a
know,
lot different though, being around
uh,
them versus wearing a patch, right?
no, for me, no, because I, Soul Brothers always embraced me, even in a chosen few patch. And again, that's the history of the clubs being brother clubs. We were, like favorite cousins. Like them was the ones. Like if we were out somewhere and we got into it, or they got into it, vice versa. Nigga, we not walking away, or we not gonna stand and watch. Nigga, you're not gonna hit my cousin. I'm here. Take these with you. So I I always had love from all the Soul Brothers. So now that I'm over here, no, it doesn't feel any different. It's kind of awkward. Like I got the patch, but it doesn't. There's no one's treating me any different. I feel like if I was still chosen few, I'm still getting the same love. I've just had more. I've had brothers reach out that welcomed me and said, welcome to the family, and welcome home. But I would never have seen them. I would never have talked to them probably unless I seen them at a function. So I mean, I getting calls from them is a little different. Other than that, there's no. I don't. No. I'll say no. It's no. It doesn't feel for me. It doesn't feel different. It just feels like just went over to I went over to my relative's house and kicked it, and that's where I'm
Yeah.
at.
I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, so I know you built a lot of
Yeah.
relationships over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. And even it's been fun, the banter, the back and forth, the shit, they say shooting the shit, because even with the other clubs that was reaching out and like, yo, come on over here, it was like the interaction was fun. Some of it, the jokes, and some of them, the banter, it's banter. It's stuff that when you say it, like, okay, but there's no bad blood. There was no like, oh well, oh, you ain't coming over here, or well, we ain't with you if you don't come over here. Like the relationships are still there. So it's I had good friendships with a lot of these cats, again, outside the patch, even if I didn't have the patch. And over this transition, I haven't had colors on, and it don't feel no different. Like, I mean, the people that I'm having conversations with are like, yo, or as of late, they've seen me in black and orange. I had people that was like, hey, I saw a video. Like, was the hue messed up? Is the cup like that look orange? You got black and orange on?